Hello, I'm Zardus, and let's play City Skylines. Welcome to Capilano Islands, a city that we're building entirely plopped by hand. So every building will be hand selected and placed on the series. So where we're at right now is we have started to build a small town here that will be the biggest town on the entire map. You can see we've got lots of small islands on this map, and this will be the main commercial area. And even with that, it's not going to be very big. I mean, you can see here that the main strip is pretty much just one-story retail shops. So that's where we're at there. Over here we're going to have some luxury apartment buildings that will be by a ferry stop here that will be connected by ferry to a lot of these islands. Okay, so this episode, here's our to-do list. These are the buildings that I've selected that I want to put on the map first, and then we will work on detailing. I also want to maybe try and put in some roads back in here that will be a residential area that is kind of part of this town and probably grid-based as well. But let's go ahead and get started and unpause the game just because I like to see the water moving and the people moving and the cars moving while I'm working, even though we don't have money enabled or anything like that. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is the electrical substation, and that will kind of complete the groundwork for our coal power plant here. And we're just going to put that in there. Let's see, it's concrete with gravel. I'm trying to decide if I want to change how this is. I think I do. Excuse me. Okay, so we will just brush this with concrete. Bring it over. Shoot. There we go. And then kind of clean that up a little bit. Now, I did have a couple comments of people that were asking if I plan to do any time lapses of detailing. Because if you watched the last episode, what I like to do is pause the game when I do the detailing so that you don't have to watch what I'm doing. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because doing a time-lapse involves a lot of post-production time. And I've figured that I would rather spend that time working on actual builds. And so we may have fewer time lapses but more building in here. I only have limited time to do City Skylines work, so that is the plan there. Eventually maybe that'll change, but in the meantime I will air some detailing live if we have an episode where I only have one project. So say I want to build a motel as one episode, then that would probably have much more detailing in the episode. But anyway. Okay, so next, I want to work on some of these smaller things because they are going to go along here. So first we've got the Department of Motor Vehicles. So we're going to grab that. Now, do I want that to be on the I don't want that on the corner, actually. And I want that to have a little bit of a parking lot by it. So maybe this one would actually make more sense on this side of the road. Not at the corner. Let's see. let's put it, actually, Starbucks is going to go in that corner, I think. So let's put the Department of Motor Vehicles. See, now I'm changing my plan, because now all of a sudden I saw the town hall and I thought, oh, it would make sense to have the fire station and police station right off of the town hall, because that's all part of the town. So let's do those first. And actually, we've got the fire station right here and the police station. So, okay. Let's just plop them down, and then we can rearrange as needed. And actually, what we're going to do is we're going to bring a road up here, and that will lead into the neighborhood anyway, so we'll go up a little ways. And then go back to buildings. And we'll put the police station in there, fire station. See, I want them to share space. So you just move it to try and arrange them where we want them. Put the police station over here. And the fire station. About there, probably. Yeah. And then, what we'll do is use surface painter to fill in the gaps in the concrete real quick. And then I also want the concrete to fill back here, because that's going to be parking for the employees. Let's increase the brush here. Okay, so then that will be parking, or like personal space and stuff like that. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Then we just need... do we need a fence, maybe? See, they have a little patio. That's the only thing I don't like about this asset. You know, I really like the old brick and how it looks in general, but then when you have this giant brick wall around here, so like they would come out here and they can't see anything. So I don't know. I'm digressing here into a little rant, but anyway, we'll leave that there like that and go back to our to-do list. So we've done the police station and the fire station. And then I want to do the DMV on this side of the street. There. We're gonna move it back a little bit. Like we'll put this here. And then we'll just put a parking lot next to it. Now one thing you'll notice is that I don't do very many custom parking lots because I get tired of making all the parking lines and stuff like that. So what I do instead is I have a few types of parking lots that I really like, and then I just reuse them. So you'll see a lot of this one of 4x4. I think it looks clean, it is a nice shape and stuff like that. But what I am going to do is add an entrance here. And I need to turn on road anarchy to do that. And add another entrance over here if I can. We'll add it here, I guess. And then use move it to move it. Right there. So that's one trick I like to do, is to just use roads to build my little curbs into the parking lot. So now you can see, like, we have this car that's double parked, and we have cars that are parked illegally. You can get rid of that by changing it to a pedestrian. But then you have the issue with the bollards there, which you can then fix by connecting your pedestrian roads, or like putting an intersection not too far from the bollards. But then you still have these stupid traffic lights in the... Oh, you know what? I could do this. I bet that would work. Let's see. Yep, the traffic lights are gone. Didn't get rid of my bollards. Now I can't select my roads. Okay, let's try this. I got rid of that. There. Now move the parking lot back. And look at that. Now we have an entrance to the parking lot. We don't have bollards, we don't have street lights, and I'm happy with that. So that'll be the DMV. And then let's see. Let's do the Starbucks next. Like that. Now, does this one have a drive-through window? No. Okay, so it is not a drive-through Starbucks. And it is also missing the logo, so let's add the sign really quick. Prop Anarchy. And one sign. The sign says that it's a drive-through, but we don't have a drive-through window on here, so we're just gonna have to make do. We'll put one sign over here for that street, and another sign there, I guess. Again, I think I said this last episode, but one thing you'll find is my style of play with detailing is that I want it to look nice and fun, but I also don't want it to... it doesn't have to be perfect for me. I'm not going to obsess over making sure that everything is exactly right. But I think I do achieve making it pretty cool. I mean, yesterday I posted a picture of this church on Reddit, and a Reddit bot actually flagged it as a photo, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, it must have looked realistic enough that the bot thought that it was a real thing. So I thought that was pretty nice and made me kind of happy. So Starbucks needs a parking lot as well. And one other thing to note about my style of play is that we're going to see, not only do I like to use this parking lot, but I will end up using it a lot, because one thing I want to do is, I mean, one thing about City Skylines is that when you say, okay, plop residential building, Oh, that's not gonna work. That's not right here. When you plop an office building, here's a growable one. There's no parking for it. Where do all the Sims park? They drive to work because we build these sprawling cities, and then they have nowhere to park. It doesn't make any sense. So I want to try to make sure that when we do stuff like add a Starbucks, that we add parking for it. Now this parking lot is probably a little bit too big, now that I'm looking at it. But as of now, that's the only one I have in here. So let me see if I can find another one on the workshop real quick. Okay, so I found a smaller one on the workshop, so we're going to take this one out, put in a 2x4 instead of a 4x4. And that, yeah, I like that better. Now the issue is I don't want to add another intersection here that's going to interfere with this one, because the more I do that, the more we lose our straight lines, and I don't know if I want to hand do them again, because I wasn't happy. I tried last episode off screen to see, where's my ploppable asphalt? I mean, you can cover up the crosswalks, you can cover up some of the other stuff. You have to manually remove the road arrows, it looks like, through the road options that I have. But then you also have to redo the lines, and I think that may be an unnecessary time-consuming step. So for now, we're not going to think about that. But so I'll skip doing the curb here. Long story short there. But what I will do is move this parking lot closer to the building, because it looked a little bit silly to have it have such a big gap there. And yeah, I like that. It's a nice little corner thing there. So that was the Starbucks. We already deleted that, I see. Okay, so now we have a pharmacy, and the pharmacy can go on this corner. If we can get it, I want it to be like that. So is that a drive-through window? It is. Okay, so we need to make a little bit of space, because then we want to have surface painter over here and have concrete on this corner. And actually, I found another parking lot. Where did it go? I saw it. 4x1 there. And we'll just do that. And then the cars can pull in like that. Although I am going to try and turn this around. Hopefully it doesn't get mad about road access. And it will look like that. Yeah, that'll look nice. And hold on, pause it again, so we can keep watching people move. So I mean, we're already almost 20 minutes into this episode. I think today we may end up just doing building plopping. But I think we're making really good progress on our bones for this town, and then we can go in and start doing a little bit more stuff. Now let's put the office complex over here if it will fit. And I'm just going to select all three of them. if I can do that. If I can remember how to click things. I don't know, guys. I mean, the alley's fine. That looks fine, but this side... What if we move it a little bit closer together? But see, I don't like these sidewalks. Is our road... Oh, that might be our issue. Let's try and level here. Whoops. Wrong brush button here. And move them again. Out of the way. See, it's not too... It's pretty level there. Not sure why... What's level to the road, I guess. The road is on a hill. Okay, so we'll just have to live with that. These buildings have a little bit of a step that you have to step up to do stuff, but that's okay. And I like how that looks in the alleyway. And I like how it looks out front, other than that step. So let's see what we have. I think we have a FedEx building sign, yeah. So we can have a FedEx office here. Although that's more of a, yeah, I don't think I want to put the signs up just yet. I want to look on the, workshop and see if there are any good offices that I want to... Although, you know, we could do... I'm sorry, I'm like all over the place today with this. And what I want to do is this. And find... There should be a random sign prop. Although I'm really not seeing it here either. Random. There we go. Random rooftop access. Rooftop window. Commercial logo. Commercial logo. Where is the random office logo? Aha. Okay. And what have we got? Itsy bitsy critters. And it's not really snapping properly here. Okay, well that's gonna have to wait. Because I'm getting frustrated with it, so we're moving on. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Okay, so now we have the motel. Now the motel... The motel is a little bit older, I've decided. It's been here for a little while. So we're going to... oh, we can take these out. These are temporary police and fire stations that I put in. The motel is going to come off over this way. On its own little road. Off of the old, National Highway road. We're just going to come up. Let's see, how do I want to do this road? Turn off anarchy. Minimize that, and that. I want it to curve. There, that's what I want. And then we're going to put the King Motel back here. Although maybe it would look better right off the road. See, the original idea I had was to... Originally, I was going to have this town be oriented the other direction, and then I had a little road coming off here, and I had the motel here as kind of like right off the highway. But it looks older, so it made sense now to put it more on the old national highway,
Any music from antiquity.
national road. So what we'll do, I do like it right here. And then we're going to terraform a little bit to smooth this out. I don't want to mess with the water. But here I do want it to be like that. That looks better. So now there's this old motel that used to be along the highway here, and I mean it still is, but at one time it may have been much nicer than it is today. Okay, and now we have this giant hardware store. Hellwig. I thought it looked kind of like a good store to be in a more rural setting. And I do want it to be kind of in a newer part of town. So let's see, how would this town developed would be older stuff here, you know, people living up here closer to the water and stuff like that. Then the new highway came in. So development would be over in this direction. We'll put the hardware store on this side. And we need to have some big parking. And these people aren't going to be happy living across the street from the hardware store, actually. So that idea is out too. What if we put it over here, I guess? Kind of on the outskirts of town. I originally thought that I could put some, like, industry and stuff over here. Like warehouses. I think I've got a few assets, and that might be the next episode might be adding a little bit of industry, because you can see we've got a whole bunch of industrial demand, and while I don't care too much about the functionality of this town, I do want it to have all the stuff that we need it to have. But anyway, so we will, in fact, put the hardware store over here. And we'll curve. See, that building is giant. It doesn't make sense to have it right on. Well, okay, so we're going to hold the hardware store for next time. If you're still watching this episode, then please let me know where you think we should put it. Should it be over by the highway, by the luxury stuff? Should we build it somewhere over here, maybe, on the outskirts of town? What should we do? And we'll probably have to throw in a big bot store, like a Walmart or something, somewhere in this town, too. I think that would be realistic. But in the meantime, I'm going to do a tiny bit of detailing with the video paused, because we're so late into the episode already. And then I'll show you what I've done briefly, and then that'll wrap up the episode. Okay, so I thought I'd show you a little bit of the detailing I did. This is over by our power plant. I added quite a bit of grass over here. I added some road wearing in here. I added weeds in between where the train tracks are, and over here I added more grass and detailed a bit of the trees where it is their property, but they don't really maintain it, so it's kind of overgrown there. And then I added foliage pretty much around the whole build, and I added some cars in here as well. So this is kind of how a typical build is going to turn out, where I have marked where the property lines are, and then I'll fill it in with foliage then, and you can see right outside it I haven't filled in because I don't know what we'll put outside there yet. And it's possible that that'll all be forest when we're done, but who knows? So that's the way the power plant looks now. Then back in our main town, what I did was I kind of filled in the highway exit area with some foliage as well, because that kind of just adds some detail in there. Over here, I added a couple parking lots to the office area. Let's see. Oh, I added a park over here too. I figured right behind Town Hall, we weren't really going to have any buildings or anything in there, so it made sense that a small park would be here. It's pretty basic. I mean, I've got some flowers and then grass and a couple trees, and that's about it. But then over in here, I added a parking lot for the police, and then I added a basketball court for the firemen and the policemen to kind of duke it out a bit. I imagine they each have their own basketball team. And then I just added a fire truck coming out of the fire station, which I will point out that the one I've chosen is too tall for this fire station, but that's the one I have in my asset collection, and that's what we're going to go with. So I think that's about all that I have for this episode, and I hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button. If you didn't, then hit dislike and tell me why. And if you're new, then please subscribe. If you've made it all the way through this episode, you've probably liked the content, so I suggest you subscribe to kind of keep following along. But that's about it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching. See you next time.